With the 2024 presidential election just a few weeks away, many Americans may be feeling increased anxiety. Joining us now to address this issue is clinical psychologist and author Dr. Michael Adams. Dr. Adams, welcome back to Daily Flash.
Andrea, thank you so much for having me back.
It is no secret, Dr. Adams, we have a mental health crisis in this country, and the upcoming election has many people feeling a great deal of anxiety. You've got some terrific tips to help us get through the next few weeks. Let's start with the first one. You suggest committing to a news diet.
Yes, I do, Andrea. I think what's happening in this country, of course, is people are very anxious about the election, whatever way it's going to turn. When I say an election diet, what I mean, or a news diet, if you will, I say watch the news a little bit in the morning, watch a little bit of it in the evening or afternoon, and you'll catch up on the major bullet points of what's going on that day, especially in the election space, right? Because many people gorge themselves. I'm going to use that word, gorge themselves on the news. They're 24/7 almost connected to what's going on, and I would say, especially this late in the process of the election, I would say that most people know where they stand and most people have all the information they need to make their choice. So all that does is, we know the equation works like this. Conflict creates drama, drama creates interest. And if we throw the element of fear in, we have the perfect psychological format for engagement. So news medias know this, and people need to be smart consumers of the news.
It sounds like you're describing a blockbuster movie, just when you mention those things.
Right.
You also say number two on your list, avoid anticipatory anxiety. What do you mean by anticipatory anxiety?
Okay, so Andrea, anticipatory anxiety is really when you're expecting some kind of event or something to take place, right? And you're reliving that fear over and over and over again. Whatever's going to happen in November of the election is not going to be influenced by one individual voter, okay? So being anxious about the outcome and overly anxious about it and revisiting 50,000 times between now and then does nothing for you except make you upset, anxious, depressed, confused, whatever variable we want to put in that equation, right? So I tell people, don't relive this over and over and over again. Just cast your vote and we'll see what happens.
Also on your list, and I think this is extremely important no matter where you fall on the political spectrum, practice tolerance.
Yes, what we're seeing is a lack of tolerance with
Yeah.
people. I even see in my practice, Andrea, I see people that are so extreme one way or the other, so polarized. There's problems with friends, relatives, coworkers, whatever. They're on different sides of the dimension of politics, and unfortunately, that creates an uncivil kind of interaction with people. So I always tell people, listen, we're not one dimensional. We're complicated. So we're not just Republican. We're not just Democrat. We're not just independent. That might reflect our attitudes, our motivation, our interests, and so forth, our values, right? But we have to always remember, too, that we're complete human beings. And just because we're one political party or the other doesn't mean that's the totality of who we are. America was founded on tolerance, and we need to return to that.
100%. You also say a good way to kind of help with the anxiety is to volunteer for your cause.
Well, yes, I think if you're very passionate about the cause, I think you can do certain things. I think you can, be involved in, phone type of solicitation of people. You can stuff envelopes, although we're getting a little late. Yeah, but
Yeah.
here's something very challenging. I think what we can do is we can engage other people in civil conversation who don't agree with us. Keyword, civil. So that's one thing we can do. We can talk to people who don't agree with us. As long as it's civil, we may learn something from the other
Yes.
side because this is
Amen.
not portrayed. It's not in black and white.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're probably closer together on the issues than we are far apart. And I think people forget that. It's also easy to get so sucked into social media and do the doom scrolling. And the same goes for cable news. You also say, fifth thing on your list, think for yourself.
Henry, it's very important. We have critical analytical thinking. That's what people need. They need to think for themselves and not just mimic or parrot, if you will, what they've heard. They need to think for themselves, digest it, and understand. They're also exposed. News is very closely related to propaganda on any side of the fence. So you have to remember that if we digest this carefully, okay, we're going to probably have a much more accurate view of what's really going on if we have a critical view towards them.
Great information. Dr. Adams, where can people get a copy of your book, Make America Sane Again?
Well, Andrea, thank you. It's makeamericasaneagain.net. And there's one chapter I wish I threw in there, which is We should propose a Department of Common Sense. We really need that.
I like that. I will lead that for you if you need any help whatsoever. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us.